every single one of the tzaras that Klal Yisrael goes through in Galus is either mefurish or merumaz in one of the teichachas. And the Chachamim, Chazal, and the Chachamim that came after them were able to see in the words of the teichachas an expression of all the various tzaros l'mineihem that Klal Yisrael has endured and does endure. And one of those psukim in Bechukaisai is V'radu bachem saineichem. Your enemies will rule over you. But bachem doesn't mean over you, it means in you. Rashi brings V'radu bachem saineichem she'eni maimit sainim elo mikem ubachem. That I'm going to be maimid enemies for you, from you and in you. Meaning that there's such a thing that Klal Yisrael could have a tzara, not because the Umayis Ha'olam were oimdim aleinu, b'chol dar v'dar oimdim aleinu, l'chal oiseinu, but that even within Klal Yisrael there could be movements to destroy Klal Yisrael from within Klal Yisrael. V'radu bachem saineichem mikem ubachem. And it's because of such a tzara that although every year, Baruch Hashem, we have an olam in the community that's zahir to do the Seder of Yom Kippur Kattan every month, but there's a special Hisayrus before Chodesh Elul. And this year as well, there was a special Hisayrus and a plan that we would get together before Chodesh Elul. And then we discovered that the Chachmei Hadar asked that everybody across the Gaila and Chutz La'aretz, everyone join in with the tzara of the Bnei Torah in Eretz Yisroel for extra tefillos and for a Seder of Yom Kippur Kattan. It's important to understand the place that such an Nisayon has in the life of Klal Yisrael in order to know how to relate to it and how to daven about it, and to know where Chazal saw in the Bachem that it's Mikem. Bachem means they'll rule in you. Where did they see that it means that it will be from you, that the Yisayim will be from you? Now there's a Kabbalah biyadenu that if you don't know this explicitly, you won't be surprised to hear it, that every Galus is merumez in Galus Mitzrayim. Galus Mitzrayim is like the seed from which all the Galias came about. And all the different types of tzaras of all the Galias, their shayrishes in Galus Mitzrayim. You could see this in the fact that when Avram Avinu had the machazeh by the Bris Bein Absarim, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him, Ger yeh zaracha be'eretz lo lohem va'avadum v'inu oisam arba meyos shana, which is Galus Mitzrayim, that hinted there were all the Galias, as Chazal say, that there was an Eima chashecha gedoyla noifeles olav, and Chazal tell us that Eima zu malchus Bavel, chashecha is malchus Poras, malchus Yavon, and so on and so on. Noifeles is malchus Edom. So you see that in the Nevuah about the Galus of Mitzrayim, there's already the seeds of all the Galias, the Malchios that came against us, but you don't see in Galus Mitzrayim a shayrish for this type of Galus of Mikem Ubachem, a Galus where Klal Yisrael is suffering at the hands of Klal Yisrael. That you don't see by Galus Mitzrayim. But the Sfarim tell us, Rav Hutner writes about it in the Pachad Yitzchak on Pesach, in Maimer Ayin Aleph. He writes that for this we need Masha Gilu Lanu Chachmei HaEmes. What the Chachmei HaEmes revealed to us, that the source in the history of Klal Yisrael for the tzara of Yidden that are being hurt by Yidden is V'gam Erev Rav Ola Imam, that the Erev Rav that joined Klal Yisroel, that Erev Rav that agitated and brought so much tzara and so much pain to Klal Yisroel, that's Mirames to the tzara of Mikem Ubachem, of Aradu Bachem Saineichem, that through the Galus we have this it exists, this phenomenon that Klal Yisrael is not only suffering from the nations that are oimdim aleinu l'chaloiseinu, but we're suffering from within. But it's a pella, because while all the other galiyos you could find that their sources in the galus of Mitzrayim, the source of the Erev Rav is in the geula from Mitzrayim. It wasn't until the geula from Mitzrayim that the Erev Rav came with them. And we know that the geula from Mitzrayim is like a me'ain, is a shirish of the geula ha'asida. Like the pasuk says, mefurish, ki me'tzeischem me'eretz Mitzrayim arenu niflois, that I'll show you niflois, I'll show you the future geula, like Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is the example. Mitzrayim is the blueprint. And in the geula from Mitzrayim, that's when we see the challenge of the Erev Rav. And this should be for us an incredible chizuk, because that means that the time in the history of Klal Yisrael that a tzara exists, from within, that's the time where we're holding by the geula from Golus. The other tzaras are marumas in the 210 years we were in Mitzrayim. But the tzara of Eradu Bachem Sainechem, that's merumas in the geula from Mitzrayim. But what is this galus by other Yidden? So let's read the Rashi in full. Rashi says, She'eni mai mitzoinem elo mikemu bachem. Listen to what Rashi says. Rashi says, Shebisha she'umais ha'olam oimdim al Yisroel. At the time that Goyim are oimed al Yisroel, that umais ha'olam attack us, what are they attacking? It says, Einom mevakshim elo al masha begaloi. They want what they can see. They're not in the family. They know what they see from the outside. They want to take away from Klal Yisroel what they see from the outside. But it's not that way when we suffer from within. Aval b'shah she'amid aleichem mikem ubachem. But at the time that I'm maimed upon you, from you and in you, they're going to look for your hidden treasures. When we suffer from umay ha'olam that don't know the neshama of who we are, they don't know what our essence, what our lifeblood is, so they'll attack us for more external things. But when the tzara is from within, Yidden know. And then the attack is that, and that's the diuk from the pasuk. It's mikem, it's from you, because that's the only way it could be bachem, in you. In you, be'oimek nafshechem, in your matmonias, in the treasure of your treasures, that's only when it's mikem. Only Yidden Alein could cause that type of tsar, because only Yidden Alein have that sensitivity to see it, to feel it, to know it. And what's matmonias? What's a matmonias of Klal Yisrael, if not that which the Gemara says, Yikarahi mipninim, mikayin gadol hanichnas lefnai v'lefnim. What's more intimate with HaKadosh Baruch Hu than that which the Gemara says is more intimate than the kayin gadol going to the most heilige karev el Hashem place in the world, and that's the world of Torah v'loimdeha, the world of the Torah and those who learn Torah. So what we're seeing in the world is not so mysterious when we learn Chumash with Rashi. Because Rashi tells us that there will come a time, which we understand means in the end of times, that there will come a time that mikem, that from you, people will rise up and try to penetrate bachem, in you, b'matmoniyos shalochem, in your hidden, in your treasure chests. They'll go deep, deep, deep into the treasures. And of course that means the Batei Midrashis of Klal Yisrael, of course. And especially the Batei Midrashis of Eretz Yisrael, of the Torah's Eretz Yisrael. And there have been gzeiros from Goyim on Limud HaTorah as well. But there's a certain sharpness when the gzeira comes from Acheinu Bnei Yisrael. When the feeling that we have is, you want me to leave the Beis Medrash. I want you to sit next to me in the Beis Medrash. When the Rabbi Sonnenschein said, V'zois HaTorah, Asher Sam Moshe Lifnei Bnei Yisrael, he meant you. This is not us against an enemy. This is us against the chayla. This is us against someone who's deprived of the yakros, of the pnimios, of the matmonios. Someone who's so deprived, so insensitive, has become so broken that he lost the sensitivity about his own treasures. And when Klal Yisrael is fighting Klal Yisrael, besides for the tsar of that alone, that brother is fighting brother, besides for the tsar that the Torah is being threatened, but those who are threatening the Torah have a chelik in the Torah. They could daven v'sein chelkeinu b'seirosecha. They can do tshuva and sit down and learn a taisvus with us. They can appreciate a Pri Megadim. They could taste the honey of a Pnei Yeshua. They could enjoy the sharpness of a Reb Chaim. It wasn't not given to them. It was given to them also. And the deprivation of Torah by Yidden is so felt when Yidden are trying to deprive Torah from other Yidden. And this is why the Chachmei Hadar said that we have to daven. Because this is a unique tzara, a tzara on top of a tzara. Mikem ubachem. And now, we're standing here getting ready, preparing ourselves. Yom Kippur Kattan is a tremendous hachana for the month that's coming. And what is the month of Elul? If not a month of Yedidus, Ani L'Daidi, a month of Kirov. You know, there's this, it feels almost like an immature mistake that the Welt makes when we talk about back and forth, how much should we talk about it, how much shouldn't we, the Ema, the Pachad of Elul. The reason it's a mistake, the whole conversation's a mistake, is because the Pachad of Elul came from the Yedidus of Elul. It came from the visit from the Melech. It came from our access to the Melech. We feel the awe because we have access to the Melech. And when we're Nigash El HaKodesh, when we approach the awe from a sense of, why am I in such awe? Because I have the zchus to be standing here with the Melech. That's where the awe comes from. But the month of Elul is the Ani L'Daidi V'Daidi Li. That month of Elul is a time of beginning this unbelievable process of Kirvas Elikim that just starts with Elul and continues to a Rosh Hashanah where we're Oimid B'Din, to a Aseres Yemei Tshuva where we cleanse ourselves to be Roi, to be Avdei Hashem, to a Yom Kippur where we're Zeicha Lehayu Yomim Tovim Yisroel, we're Zeicha to the unbelievable Simcha of Kapara, and then on to Sukkot where we celebrate that Kapara, and until Simchas Torah, because the ultimate Kirvas Elikim is when we pick up a Sefer Torah and dance with it, is the intimacy that we have. Matmoni Yisrael. That's who we are. That's our essence. That's our pnimius. The whole month that we're starting, the pinnacle, the sea, the crescendo of the whole thing is when we'll dance with the Sefer Torah in our hands. That's when we're going to Su'usha Aron, finally close the Aron. And we start off with the month of Elul that we say every day, twice a day. Achas sha'alti me'eis Hashem, oisa avake shivti beveis Hashem, kol yemei chayai. Because that is the Kirvas Elikim that we're davening for. So of course, we want to take advantage of this Heilige time the opportunity to say a heilige tefillah of Yom Kippur Kattan. But we don't want to stop there. That's the haschala of our avodah, not the end of our avodah. We want to open ourselves, open our hearts, and open our minds, and remind ourselves that we're zeicha to have this segula, this treasure. It's not a coincidence that the Bnei Torah in Klal Yisroel start their starim for the year in the beginning of Elul. This is a time for us to remind ourselves, Ein lanu shiur rak haTorah hazois. We have a Messiah that Ein lanu shiur rak haTorah hazois doesn't mean that we don't have all those other things. Nebuch, we just have Torah. It means that every segula that existed in every other place in the Beis HaMikdash and the Nisim and the Ava is all b'Torah hazois. Ein lanu shiur rak haTorah hazois. We have a Messiah. My father tells me it's from the Shloah HaKadosh. So let's remind ourselves that we have a heilige Torah and that it belongs to all of us. Zeis haTorah asher sam Moshe lefnei Bnei Yisroel. There's nobody who's excluded from that presentation of the Torah being presented to him. And that the Torah is deeper than we can imagine and broader than we can imagine. And let's take this time to commit ourselves to engaging in Torah broader and deeper, with more energy, with more koyach, broadening our knowledge of Torah and deepening our appreciation of Torah. And perhaps, if we work on ourselves to appreciate the matmonios that we have, and perhaps if we devote ourselves to tasting the devash v'chala of the beautiful, unbelievable, irreplaceable taste of learning Hashem's Torah, perhaps HaKadosh Baruch Hu will see that cheshek, and He'll keep our Bnei Torah where they belong, B'koslei Beis HaMedrash, learning Hashem's Torah, and He'll finally be mekabetz all of us, to all of us be zeicha, to learn Torah in Eretz Yisroel, where we belong, where we need to be, and where the clock is ticking that Be'ezer Hashem will be b'mheira v'yomeinu.